Okay, so here we are at the mid-season break for The Walking Dead, episode 7. I thought it was going to go to 6, actually we'll go to 7. It's going to finish off in February. An odd month to continue zombies, but anyways. Most of the season is bubbling to a head with the Herschel group and Rick's group coexisting on the farm. Recently, Glenn was made aware of a barn full of walkers. This time he finally reveals to the group that there is a barn full of walkers, which then leads more to the schism of the group in between Shane, who wants to be more proactive and essentially kind of start killing walkers, and Rick, who's trying to do more of the diplomatic, let's see if we can work with Herschel. You know, my wife is pregnant, we have to try to stay in this area where it's fairly well insulated. We have food, we have medical supplies, we have everything that we need to try to survive and to try to have a more normal life as opposed to constantly living on the run. So you have the Rick and Shane dynamic, the Rick and Herschel dynamic, where he's trying to figure out, okay, what do we have to do to, one, if you want to keep them in the barn, fine, let's get the barn as secure as possible. Two, if we can stay here, what sort of things can we do? Do we help out with chores? You know, what is it going to take for us to be able to coexist as one larger group? Herschel doesn't want any of that at all. Period. It's not until Maggie essentially repeats a scripture verse, you know, love each other as I have loved you. Speaking, of course, of one of the new commandments that Jesus gives, which, of course, is the most important commandment of the New Testament. Is to love each other as I have loved you. And kind of saying, if you send them out into the wilderness, it is a death sentence. Period. Just period. You still have some of the interplay going on with some of the other characters. So you kind of have the following like large scenarios. Most people now know that Lori is pregnant. Everyone now knows there are walkers in the barn. Rick goes out with Herschel because they do find some walkers who kind of get stuck in something kind of like a quicksand. And they retrieve them by essentially using the noose on a stick and taking them back to the barn. Around this time, Shane goes off to hunt down the guns that Dale has ran off with. And then Shane comes back as full of testosterone as absolutely possible and decides the best thing to do is to arm everybody and, of course, assault the barn. And more or less break all of Herschel's preconceived notion these are just sick people, that they're actually, you know, they're the walking dead. So they more or less, Shane breaks open the barn. And then in a blaze of glory, they gun down every single walker in there. Like, probably wondering, do they find Sophia? Yeah, they do. She's the last walker to leave the barn. That's when Rick walks up to the front and kills, I guess, it's kind of known as he kills a zombie, but essentially puts a bullet in Sophia's brain. And that's how they end the mid-season. So it began with Sophia being lost, being chased down by walkers. It ended with her being revealed to have been a walker for most of this time while they were trying to hunt her down and find her. And then Rick putting her down. So you get the de-evolution of Shane, Rick just trying to get things to work, Glenn stepping it up a little bit, and it, you know, less in the way of zombies, more in the way of the overall personal interaction and drama, you know, and they did end it definitely by kind of entirely just closing the loop on this whole sequence here, and the fallout from killing Sophia in front of everybody is probably going to be pretty traumatic, which will actually make these next 2 months probably seem pretty long until we hit February when the second season continues.